Hello, my name is Sister Kushla of Mary Immaculate, and I'm currently serving as Prioress of our Carmelite of Christ the King in Christchurch, New Zealand.
And I'm Sister Catherine of Christ.
We'd like to introduce you to our project to rebuild our chapel. It has come about, this decision, by a convergence of several factors, and Sister Catherine might show you something about them.
Great, I'll go and do that now.
Thanks.
I'm standing on the enclosure side, the nuns only side of our public chapel. Behind me, if the ground looks a little unkempt, we don't mow this part. It's not our lawns and gardens, which are on the other side of the monastery buildings. This is one of the paddocks where our cattle graze. This chapel that you see behind me has seen a lot of history over the years. Beginning when our sisters came in 1933, they purchased this beautiful plot of land, 6 acres, with a river running down the back border and mountain views in the distance. It was on the outskirts of Christchurch City at the time with farmland all around. They bought this homestead, and onto the homestead they built a temporary chapel. The first priority they had was to build a monastery wing, a proper monastery building, wherein they could receive new vocations. So the sisters, the 7 of them, lived in this double-storey homestead. It's just off camera here. And in the meantime, they built a temporary chapel wherein they could hear Mass every day and have a small congregation present. What happened was the war hit, and in 1940, so the monastery wing building went up 1938. 1940, Sister Mary of the Sacred Heart had her habit day. She was one of the early first New Zealand vocations. Her family could not fit in the chapel, just her family. So the sisters made the decision to do the first extension to the temporary chapel in 1940. Habit Day was on the 7th of December 1940. The sisters made a deposit in November of that year for £20, and in January 1941 they paid the remainder for the extension, £318, 14 shillings and 7 pence. Now, I know everything is relative and we don't know yet what price our new chapel is going to be, but I'm really jealous of these figures. So little, at least it seems to me. So that was the first extension, from that drain pipe there, those next 2 windows, to the next join in the building. That lasted the sisters from 1940 until 1987. They decided that they needed another extension. Congregation was not fitting, and by that point, what had begun as a temporary chapel had basically become the permanent chapel. There was a final addition made at the very end there where that lean-to is in 2001, and that was the addition of a foyer and a bathroom. So now we've talked about the history. What about the chapel today? Well, first of all, one of the things that we've been dealing with more frequently in recent years is the maintenance of the chapel, of the exterior cladding. Even though our chapel stood up remarkably well to the earthquakes in 2010-2011 with just some cosmetic damage, the exterior wall on our side, which is the western facing wall, it faces the sun all afternoon, it requires a lot of maintenance. At the beginning of 2024, we met for the first time as a community about our centenary coming up in 2033. What do we want to do to prepare? What do we want to see happen in our community, in our Carmel, in view of that huge event, exciting event? And one of the things that came up in the meeting was, is there anything we can do to beautify and improve our chapel? A couple of things that came up. One, stained glass windows, arch windows, more evenly spaced windows, anything like that. And also on the interior, we've got a central aisle that's very, very narrow at Holy Communion time. It's got traffic that goes like this, with people kind of turning to go up and come back. It's a little bit messy on a Sunday. We thought, well, we've got the width capability on this side. We want to do nicer windows. We want to insulate the chapel and do a lower cladding, a lower maintenance cladding. We wondered about extending the chapel to where the confession box is and that lean-to, just going straight down with a new and wider site. So that is something we were percolating on as a community, and then we found out about the fire compliance requirements. I'm sitting on the public side of our chapel. It's actually outside the enclosure. We nuns don't usually come out here, but the doors are locked and the prioress knows I'm out here. This is just a quick explanation of what we would have to do to the existing chapel if we were to bring it up to fire compliance requirements. First of all, in front of St. Therese here, we were going to need to cut a new double width door, a fire exit door, making sure that we had no pews in front of it. We have 17 rows of pews custom made for this chapel, 17 on each side. We were going to have to cut every single one to make the aisle wider, the central aisle wider. We were going to have to widen all the doors, including the door in the sanctuary, for egress routes. We were going to have to put in a new fire alarm system through the roof. We were going to have to paint everything in fire retardant paint. And finally, having done all of those things, we were still going to be reduced by half capacity. Okay.
We'd like to invite you to join us on this journey. We will keep you updated on our website, and we would like especially to ask for your prayers that all will go according to the Lord's will, so that this chapel is a place of great beauty and prayer for those who come to Mass and to spend quiet time at our Carmel.
God bless you.
God bless you.